630 times higher of dying from COVID. So these are the reasons why it's so important for older adults to get educated about this, read about this with their children, their adult children. Super important that the whole family gets educated about this, and then go talk to their primary care physician to say, hey, is this the right time to get the medication, to get the vaccine? And how do I go about getting the vaccine? What's the best route to do it? Do you have it at the center, or do we have to go through public health? Do we have to go through Publix or any kind of entity that's providing vaccines at this point in time? Super important. Great question.
Right. So if we get everybody vaccinated, Dr. Kumar, then what will that do? Because I know we all rushing now, and I have some of my friends that they have gotten a little bit frantic because they have not been able to get the vaccine and they want it. And so I have other ones that have driven to Orlando to get it. So what will happen once everybody gets vaccinated?
So there's this thing in epidemiology called herd immunity, which basically states, and this is very basic in stating it, is that if you have a sufficient population of individuals, otherwise known as a herd, that gets vaccinated, those folks that are made up of the herd confer some level of resistance to those folks that have not been vaccinated. So the more people we can get vaccinated fully through both series, the higher the likelihood those that didn't get vaccinated will derive a benefit from that. And that's whether it's COVID vaccine, that's whether it's the flu vaccine, any vaccine that has the same similar properties there. And what you're doing by doing this is you're driving down the rate of spread of the virus and how active the virus is to smaller and smaller groups of people. And that's what you want. The more of us that can get vaccinated, the better it is that we're protecting. And since we started off the discussion on, just like yourself, you want to protect your community, just like myself, I want to protect my community. I think we all want to protect our community. And the best way to go about doing this is getting your vaccine at this point in time.
And I read, I believe this somewhere, and where they say that the bubonic plague stopped back in the day is because there was no more people that could get killed by it. And that's how you know when the epidemic is done. So the whole idea with this is preventing for everybody to be able to, for the virus to keep on spreading and killing people. So this will prevent as much as possible, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you think about it, the virus kind of spreads right now from like one person to about 1.5 to 5 people. Now the new variants are spreading even faster. So the faster we can get people vaccinated, the spread will be there, but it won't be 1 person to 5 people, 1 person to 10 people. What you want to do is drive it down to 1 to 1. And once you can drive that spread down to 1 to 1, you have much better control of the virus. And it actually gives health systems the ability to have the resources, to have the personnel in order to help take care of those individuals that truly get severe disease from catching it, should they decide not to get vaccinated. Because we're always going to have some level of the population who don't want to get vaccinated.
Yes. So I have that there's, I guess, type of vaccines. Can you tell me a little bit more about them?
Yeah, sure. So there are several types of vaccines right now. And mind you, that none of these vaccines have been authorized, so to say, to sit there and say, this absolutely prevents coronavirus. What this does is helps the body recognize a specific part of the coronavirus. It's not the virus itself. So if you look at the virus called coronavirus, the reason why it's called coronavirus, because it has a little spike on the top. It looks like a crown. So that's crown virus, coronavirus. So we developed technologies called mRNA technologies. This is a lot of biochemistry stuff right here. That what you do is you're able to get the spike protein, which is that crown part, and what you do is you take that spike part and you present it, put it in a vaccine, and then give it to a person, and that spike part is presented to your cells that help fight off infection. You're not presenting the virus, you're presenting a piece of the virus, the outside part of the virus, and your body reacts to that outside part. This is very different from a lot of the vaccines that we've given in the past that uses eggs and that actually give either a modified portion of the virus, the actual DNA, RNA, that's again the biochemistry stuff, versus a spike protein. So in a lot of sense, you're really not getting a virus, you're just getting a piece that's on the outside part of the virus. that help the body recognize this stuff. That's what this mRNA technology is. And by using this technology, you're able to develop vaccines faster and in greater quantities. We didn't have that in the past. In the past, we were growing them in eggs. And a lot of people had allergies to eggs and all sorts of substitutes and things like that. These days, these viruses are made very, very carefully. They're not incubated in any eggs. They're synthetically made, and they do not integrate within your DNA structure whatsoever. The mRNA molecule that is used actually gets destroyed very quickly into the cell. So it does its thing, and then it gets destroyed very quickly. So there is approximately 5 vaccine and plenty more coming on down the line. You got the Pfizer vaccine, and it's 95% effective. It is made up of mRNA, and it's for people age greater than 16. You get 2 shots separated by 21 days. The Moderna vaccine is 94.1 effective. It's made up of mRNA, and individuals over the age 18 get that vaccine. It's also a 2-shot vaccine separated by 28 days. So a third one, which is coming out, Oxford AstraZeneca's COVID-19, is usually out in Europe now what they're doing. It's 63.09% effective, and it's for people over the age 18. It is manufactured completely different. It is actually developed and put into a non-viable virus. And again, this goes back to the biochemistry, immunology, and it can be very technical in some of these things. But it's a 2-shot virus, a 2-shot vaccine that's separated by 12 weeks. And of course, the one that everybody's talking about now, it's Johnson & Johnson's COVID-19 vaccine. It's 66% effective towards moderate illness and 86% effective towards severe illness. And that has a very different way of delivering the vaccine to you, and it's for folks age greater than 18. It's a 1-shot vaccine. And there's another one called Novavax COVID-19 vaccine. It's primarily in the United Kingdom and South Africa, but the company's based in Maryland, I believe. Their vaccine is about 89.3% effective. It's protein-based, and again, age 18. So the ones that are out there right now is the Pfizer, Moderna, and soon-to-be Johnson & Johnson's COVID-19 vaccine. Now, the important thing to realize is with this is, please do not go out and start mixing and matching vaccine. And I tell all my patients this: if you get the Pfizer vaccine, since it's a 2-shot vaccine, the second one should be Pfizer, not Moderna. And you can't swap out Moderna and Pfizer at the same time, too. Stick with the vaccine that you get in the first place.
Oh,
now, what's really interesting, do not mix and match. Do not mix and match. CDC highly recommends not doing things like that either, because the Pfizer shot, you get the second shot, you get 21 days later, whereas the Moderna, you get 28 days later. And plus, there's some differences in there, too. Now, what's really kind of cool about the Johnson & Johnson's vaccine, it's a 1-shot. So whereas both Pfizer and Moderna require certain parameters in order to hold the vaccine and distribute the vaccine, not so much with Johnson & Johnson's. It's a 1-shot vaccine, which means what? You don't need to have those special things in order to give the vaccine. So for all those communities that are rural, and those places that have no physicians, this is a great vaccine to get for all those folks. And for those folks that don't want 2 shots, you can get that 1-shot Johnson & Johnson one. I believe it's supposed to be coming for emergency use authorization. Now, emergency use authorization is a whole different thing altogether. It bypasses the normal way of how vaccines are developed, evaluated, and then put out. But because we are in a pandemic situation, the Secretary of Health and Human Services has the power invested in them through the Constitution and through all the other laws that basically states that they can enact an emergency use authorization to the FDA. So you meet certain criteria in order to do what's called the EUA, emergency use authorization, and that the FDA commissioner has to prove that these certain criteria are met before a vaccine can be distributed, or medication can be distributed, or some kind of medical equipment can be distributed. And this was all thanks in part to a previous law associated with what we call biodefense in the United States.
Thank you. Well, this has been amazing opportunity and amazing information, as a matter of fact, Dr. Kumar. And I thank you so much, because we're running out of time. but I do want to have a 2-part series. So thank you one more time for everything, and we stay tuned for our next program. So right now, my friends, it is March. I want to go ahead and let you know that you are special, that you are uniquely made, that you created with a purpose that only you can fulfill. As many of these doctors, where they find their purpose of helping others and bringing education and changing our community, you can do the same. My friends, I look forward to speaking to you and for you to hear my show next week. Stay tuned, stay pure, stay positive, and stay inspired. This is Rosie. Ciao.
You just enjoyed another episode of Cafecito with Rosie on air. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe and visit www.rosiepaulson.com to learn more about Rosie Paulson Enterprises. Stay pure, stay positive, stay inspired.
Seniors, can you walk into your doctor's office and see them when you need to? Do you have your doctor's cell phone number? And can you call them anytime, day or night? At Dedicated Senior Medical Center, their only specialty is caring for seniors. Dedicated makes it easy to get the primary care you deserve. If your doctor isn't taking time to listen to you or isn't treating you like family, it's time to call Dedicated Senior Medical Center. Schedule a visit to find out more about the care you deserve. Call 813-359-1448. That's 813-359-1448. Appointments available now.